Hello and welcome back to the Phil Gadd Living in Fernie market report for January 2023. I can't believe we're already a month into the new year. But if you are looking to buy and sell real estate in the Fernie or surrounding areas and looking for some advice, looking to have some of your questions answered, then please click my Calendly link below to schedule a short intro call with me to discuss the market, and we can take it from there. Join with me this month is Rob Bain, and we're going to get into how you calculate credit scores, and we're going to talk about the interest rates, the current interest rates that the Feds have just changed, just coming up with, and we are going to also discuss predictions for 2023. So without further ado, let me get into my market summary for Fernie, January 2023. We had 12 new listings last month. That was up 50% on the same time last year. And only 9 sold listings in January 2023. That's down 10% on 2022. What is quite interesting, though, is the list price and sale price in January 2023 were very similar to December 2022, but they're up quite considerably on this time last year. So the list price is now, the average is now 697,988. That's up 48%. And the sale price is also up 44% to 670,667. Average sale to list price is down slightly at 96%. So, we're still very close to properties selling to what they're actually listing for. So that is down slightly on last month. Last month was 99%. So in January 2023, we're at 96. Days on market has also gone down slightly on last year, 13% to 76 days. But it is up on last month. Last month was 50 days and it's gone up to 76 days. The month supply of inventory is hovering around the same number that it was last month. This month it's 3.61. So remember, anything above 4%, we're kind of getting into a buyer's market. So we're kind of hovering around a balanced market right now, but it is 102% up on this time last year. So they're the stats from the market in January 2023. Now we're going to get into how we calculate the credit score, and Rob Bain's going to explain to us how that is achieved.
Awesome. Well, thanks for having me again there, Phil. Always great to be able to join on your podcast here. So yeah, for credit scores, I guess in Canada, our main credit reporting facility is Equifax. There is another one called TransUnion, but majority of lenders put their value in the Equifax report. So there's 5 factors that go into really calculating a person's credit score. The first is payment history. This one has, I think it's about a 35% weighting. And really, what does it mean? It means, do you make your payments on time? Do you pay as agreed with the lender for that specific product? Do you have any late payments? All of those kind of factor into that payment history record for that product. I mean, it could be a credit card, it could be a loan, it could be a mortgage, could be a cell phone. Those also report onto credit bureaus as well. So all of those factor in to that payment history. The next factor is how much is owed. So this one is about a 30% weighting, and really, it measures how much debt a client has. Do they have credit cards that are paid off on a monthly basis, or do they have credit cards that are fully utilized and maxed out? Really, how many loans does that client have? how much debt do they really carry? So that's another one of the big factors. Length of credit history. This one, not as much of a weighting on it, only 15%. But how long have you had that credit for? So did you just recently apply for a card and that's really the only thing reporting on your credit history? Well, if you do, then you don't really have a lot of history reporting. But if you do have some other facilities on there, other loans, other lines of credit, how many do you have? Number one, and really how long have they been reporting for? So, an established client that's had credit for a number of years, they're going to have a lot of history. We call that a thick credit file versus a thin credit file. A thin one doesn't have that much reporting on it. Number of new applications. So every time you apply for some sort of a credit product, the bank, the lender, the broker like myself would look at credit history for that client. And each time we look, it shows on their credit report that, hey, Rob Bain from Dominion Lending Centers looked at your credit history. So it's okay to apply for credit and have that inquiry, as we call it, show on the report. But when you have too many inquiries in a short amount of time, so, I always compare this to the client that goes shopping for a vehicle and, they tried a bunch of different lenders to get the best rate. It's good in the sense that they're going to get the best rate, but bad in the sense that they're going to have a bunch of inquiries on their credit history. And really, once you get over, say, 5 in a short time period, like a couple of months, it starts to pull your score down. So, I mean, I've seen clients that have 10, 20 inquiries one year, 10, 20 the next, and it significantly impacts their score. So it's something to keep an eye on as well, how much you're actually applying for credit. And the last of the 5 factors is the types of credit that you use. This one as well, weighted at 10%. So do you have a variety of credit products like a credit card and a loan, maybe a mortgage, maybe a line of credit, but really having a variety of we call revolving debt, credit cards and lines of credit, because you can use it, pay it off, reuse it again, it revolves, versus an installment style credit product like a loan where it's just a fixed payment each month. And after 5 years, that loan's paid off. So we want to have, a couple of different credit products on there to really report that multiple types of credit usage. Some other tips that I thought would be worth mentioning here that are important to establishing a good score as well. Again, back to those revolving products like the credit cards and the lines of credit, try not to max them out. You don't want those to sit at their limit because that's going to hurt your score. You should be paying those down and not utilizing them like a loan product. If you find yourself in that situation where it is maxed out, well, then maybe that's the opportunity to look at doing some sort of a loan with your bank to fix that. Or perhaps if you're a homeowner, we could look at a refinance to pay that down with a mortgage or something along those lines. It's going to be at a much, much lower rate than a credit card anyways. Tip number 2, be careful how many times you apply for credit in any given year. We kind of talked about this before with the number of inquiries. You don't want to do as over that 5 mark annually is kind of what I recommend. If you're going more than that, then it's gonna impact your score. Credit scores take time to update. So usually each lender only reports balances and payments once per month to the credit bureau. So if you just paid a loan off last week, don't expect it to drop off your credit report probably for about another month or so, because it takes some time for all of that to process in the background and to be reported in. Bad credit, this one can be a challenge. So, late payments, consumer proposals, bankruptcies, those types of things, they stay on your credit report for up to 7 or 8 years. They take quite a long amount of time to fall off.
Okay. So, yeah, go on. Sorry, Rob.
No, that's okay if you got a question, Phil.
Well, no, I was going to kind of summarize to basically say, don't have too many loans, pay your credit cards off on time, don't pull your credit score more than 5 times a year, and that should set you up for success and what typically would a good score look like in terms of like what numbers are you looking for?
So I mean, credit scores range from 300, 400, all the way up to 900. Right. A 900 is a perfect credit score. Don't see too many of those often, but generally what lenders are looking for is in the 700s or above is what we like to see. high 600s, it's possible to do some mortgage financing in that range. Once you get below the 600s and into the 500s, our options are quite limited. And generally, you need a larger down payment or perhaps even a cosigner in those scenarios to really look at a mortgage. So, yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, anybody can check their own credit score out too at Equifax's website. So if you just Google that, go there, you can pull your own credit report, see everything that's on there, get your score, all of that stuff. So it's important to maintain a good score for, of course, lending, but you also think about everybody else that looks at your credit report: cell phone companies, utility companies, even employers look at it, right? So it's a critical piece of somebody's information.
Yeah, that's good to know. Good to know. So you basically want your score up towards anywhere from, like you say, 700 to 900 would be ideal.
Yeah, in the 700s is great, or low 800s. I mean, I don't talk about the 900 number that often because it's pretty much the top, and it does not happen that frequently. But if you're there, that's fantastic, right? So
cool, awesome. So yeah, that's fantastic. That's some great tips there for people to use. Let's get into mortgage rates. I believe they've gone up again.
Yeah, so the Bank of Canada had their latest rate announcement there on January 25th, and they increased their overnight rate by a quarter. The good news here is that they also at the same time, made some hints towards this might be the final increase that we see for a while. So, I'm telling everybody, keep your fingers crossed. This could be a good news story. We've seen inflation kind of come down a little bit, and some of the impacts of these rate increases, I think, are starting to set in, which could be good news for rates. The next announcement's coming up on March 8th, so we do have a little bit of time until that one rolls around. But as far as interest rates go, yes, that overnight rate from the Bank of Canada directly impacts prime, which is variable and adjustable rate mortgages. So we now see most lenders with their prime rate being at 6.7. So most mortgages that relate to that, if you're in a 5-year variable, most of those are prime minus 0.9, give or take a little bit, right? So you're going to be in the mid to high 5% range in a variable or adjustable rate mortgage right now. However, the 5-year fixed rates, we've actually seen come down a little bit here in the past few weeks, which I think is a good news story. Right now for insured or high ratio mortgages, we're in the mid to high 4%, which we haven't seen 4% for a while. And then the conventional, so that's those 20% or more down payments, refinances, those types of mortgages we're seeing in the 5%, low 5 range. So, we're still good. I mean, you think about it, 4 or 5% compared to every other lending product out there. I mean, mortgages are still the cheapest way to borrow money. It's nowhere near what a vehicle loan or a credit card interest rate is, right? So it's I think we're in a good space, and I don't know about you, Phil, but I've seen the market pick up a little bit here, especially in the past 2 to 3 weeks because of this. I think that clients are starting to now make that decision to move forward because there was a lot of uncertainty in the fall as far as what was going to happen with rates. But now that we're thinking that everything has come close to where it needs to be as far as peaking interest rates are, we could be set up for a good 2023. I don't think much is going to change this year until perhaps the last few months. The hope, and again, this is just forecast by economists again, but they're saying that we should hopefully see some rate decreases come towards the end of this year or 2024. Now, don't get too excited. That doesn't mean they're going to drop down to 2%. But we're going to see some changes where hopefully we come down, maybe a quarter or a 0.5% at a time. And I think we're going to stabilize in the 4%, low 4s for a range. I'm just being a little bit conservative with that because I don't want to say the 3 number and get everybody excited.
No, but I think buyers should be excited. I think there's a real opportunity in the market right now, personally. Like you said, good news story, fixed term 5-year rates are actually coming down. Prices are also slightly coming down in some regards. there's definitely opportunity in the market for price negotiation if you get a good realtor like myself. Who can so there's an opportunity there before, like you say, once interest rates start coming back down again, prices are probably going to go the other way. They're going to start going back up again because more people can or feel like they're going to borrow money. So I think there's a window of opportunity here in the market for buyers to talk to people like yourself, because my argument is, with the power of negotiation right now and pricing, we could potentially get people in with monthly payments of potentially the same as this time last year, but even less than payments on properties that they were looking at last year, and the same property. So yeah, there's a real opportunity there, I think, before things start changing again. I feel it's like a bit like the stock market. You buy while prices are low, because I think once interest rates start coming back down again, the trend on house prices is going to start going up.
I think you're exactly right there. And then, I mean, we compare to like rental costs currently, right? I mean,
yeah.
rent has increased substantially as well over the past, 6 or so months. So, when you factor that into what the actual cost of a mortgage is, it's a good opportunity, right?
Yeah, it is a good opportunity. And the best way to take advantage of that opportunity is talk to people who can advise you well on the situation. For example, people like yourself and people like me, get out there, have that conversation. Even if like you're thinking, oh, it's 6 months away, 12 months away, have that conversation with people who are in the industry, who can give you good advice to help you make really great decisions. So thanks for sharing that information, Rob. As always, full of good stuff. And I hope that you have a good month. Like you say, things are picking up, so hopefully we'll see more transactions happening towards the into February and for the rest of 2023.
Sounds great to me, Phil.
Awesome. Thanks, Rob.